YouTube. What is up, Spotify? What's up, iTunes? What's up, Ghana? What's up, Amazon Music? It's your boy, Andrew L. Case. You are now tuned into the Middle Initial Podcast. Today is January 23, 2023, and I'm here with my co-host, as usual, Big Kev. Big Dog. I
What's
got
going
Jude in the
on?
building. What's going on? He got the stunner shades on.
So before we start, I gotta explain why I have these on because it's not a usual thing for me. I received these at the bar. I was watching the Giants game or the Giants bloodbath on Saturday night, and clearly I had no reason to put these on Saturday night, and I was not given these to not wear them. So I'm now taking the opportunity to wear them while we record. I can't see shit, but all I got to do is talk, so we should be all right.
And of course, we got a special guest tonight. If you guys are familiar with the Knicks wall, if you guys are familiar with Knicks Twitter, you have to be familiar with this young man representing New York Knicks probably harder than anybody in the best way. In the best way. And that's one thing I always compliment him about. He made me enjoy watching Knicks basketball again. My friend of yours, my man, I hate Shaun. Shaun, what's going on, bro?
I'm first of all honored to be back. And it's always really. I'm too emotional for you to say things like that on the air.
that one got me too. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like, damn, if he could make you enjoy watching the Knicks again, bro, that's some serious fucking influence. It really is.
But yeah, I appreciate it. Man. I'm glad to be back.
No, listen, man. You know, we've talked. We get to see a game together. We've talked every now and then in the DMs. I definitely jump into your spaces. I know you got a new space going on right now. So, one thing from jump, you know what I mean? Like, there's a Knicks community out there. For those who don't know, the Knicks will have a great Knicks community. If you follow Knicks Wall on Twitter, you can follow Kyle Maggio. You can follow Shaun. Friends of the show. They've been on the show before. If you are a Knicks fan and you are unabashedly a Knicks fan, and you want to have some real conversations and enjoy some merch and everything like that, jump on the Knicks Wall, man. These guys are some great guys, man. Do some great stuff, and I've been following them for about almost 2 years now, and I really enjoy the whole thing with the Knicks vibe and everything like that. We actually have some talent. We got Brunson. We will get into that later. About the talent and the coach and everything like that. But just gotta give my man his flowers while he's here. So make sure you guys follow Shaun on Twitter at I hate Shaun. But we are going to stick into the realm of NBA before we jump into the football. Because I know a lot of people come in for football, but we got to talk about this. And I'm surprised nobody threw this song behind this. I bet you won't. 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 I bet you. My man, Uncle Shannon, what they call him, Shannon Sharp, Club Shay Shay, courtside at the Lakers, with all the smoke for the Grizzlies. Well, maybe a few Grizzlies. I think it was Desmond Bain.
No,
was it Bain?
Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks. Sorry, it's Dylan Brooks.
Bain just
Dylan
minds
Brooks,
his business.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks, who someone said post game was dressed like Shawn Michaels because he had on the blank tie.
Yo, the jokes about his outfit after the game were arguably the best part of the whole fucking thing. Man. It was so good.
It was. We should have had a clip ready, but everybody's seen this already. Shannon Sharp, I guess something was said, and he apologized today on Undisputed. Something was said, and he said he won't repeat what was said or whatever. But it ticked them off. And the funniest part was, well, it depends. My perspective, some people would say it was Steven Adams coming over. But when T. Morant came over, right? And Shannon was like, you're not going to do that. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. That was my moment because that's when you know that when you said I bet you won't, you're welcoming all the smoke. He had that pack ready, rolled up. T. Morant looks like he's about 6'3", 6'4", but he has that dad gut, very skinny in the chest. You know what I mean? That sweater was really long. If you look at the outfit differences, right? Shannon's up here. His sweater fits him over his shoulders. It hangs nicely and everything. White tee. You know what I mean? T, it was just like shoulders look like they're about to touch. Shirt, same type of white tee, but it's hung a little longer. And the sweater was down to his kneecap.
Are you calling him frail? It sounds like calling frail.
Listen, I didn't want to say that. I'm just saying if we talk about
I'm just
fashion,
asking the important
this
questions. It sounds like you called him frail. His shoulders are close together.
If we kept in fashion, right? Just the outfits has told me that Shannon will like the outfits were clashing as well. So I'm just, from my perspective. But Shaun, what were your takeaways from Shannon Sharpe versus the Grizzlies?
One, I thought it was like, you don't see things like that often. Like,
no, you don't.
And I love the fact that like that was the like I say this a lot, I use this phrase a lot, but that was the definition of 10 toes. Like my man was like firmly planted, no matter who was coming over there. Like he was come say it to my face. Like no matter, it didn't matter if it was Dylan Brooks, if it was John Morant, Steven Adams came over. My man didn't flinch. T. Morant came over. And then after, like when they interviewed him, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, at first Dylan Brooks was running his mouth, but he didn't want that smoke." And then John Morant came over, he didn't want that smoke. And then his dad came over, and he definitely didn't want that smoke. I thought that definitely was nasty. I thought that definitely was nasty.
Yes. Yeah. Jeez.
But that was incredible. That was highly entertaining, and it was a great game too. You love when you get a great game and some great, like sure. It was like the perfect entertainment on a Friday. I believe that was Friday night. Perfect Friday night entertainment. Yeah. And then on top of that, I love the fact, because it was heavily reported when it was happening. All the outlets are reporting it. But I also love the fact that, him and T. Morant came and they made up or whatever, and they hugged it out. And that was also reported too. I like seeing that.
I appreciate
normally,
it too.
You don't get it being as loud when people come together as it was when there was like
motherfuckers thrive on negativity. That's all it is.
Yeah, yes. I like seeing, and I feel like that was only, I feel like that was a very. This is more than what you were asking, but I feel like that was a very like that was an example of how the world can change just a little bit. With just because I feel like if one major outlet doesn't repost them hugging, no one does, and now only the negativity is focused on. But once everybody posts the negativity, and one outlet posts the positivity, and another one does, now you look crazy if you don't post the positivity. And so, I feel like that's an important thing as far as going forward. But it was definitely hilarious, man. Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Drew, what are your thoughts?
Drew, go ahead.
Oh, my thoughts, I mean, I didn't get the chance to see the game, but I saw on Twitter all that stuff with Shannon Sharpe and everything. I mean, it's just funny, to be honest. Like, I don't know if he was drinking too much. I don't want to say Hennessy because that's stereotypical. Let's say he was drinking too much. Why'd
you bring it up?
Maybe Bud Light. White Claw, maybe.
Shannon do have his own cognac, so he might have been sipping. He might have a little flask of that Shay Shay. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the funny thing is it's just more broader commentary. But sometimes I'm wondering, like, why are you doing all this trash talk? It's funny, but at the same time, it's low key kind of late to be going on and doing all this trash talk to the point where like 5 people from the opposing team is coming after you. Just sit there. You're courtside at Lakers game. Sit there and watch the Lakers game. Enjoy yourself.
Wait. You want him to shut up and dribble? Is that what you're saying?
Well, he's not dribbling. He's not dribbling. Definitely just say.
Definitely sounded like he was trying to silence a black man. I'm not gonna lie.
It definitely sounded like that.
You see it. Why can't you just sit there and watch the game? Yeah, you see it.
Just eat his popcorn and shut up. Yeah. You want to be like Scottie Pippen did to Spike Lee? Sit your ass down.
No, I mean, it's just causing. I mean, it's funny, but at the same time, come on, you're just watching a great game. The Lakers are actually playing good basketball for once. You're watching the Grizzlies. Just sit there and enjoy.
They were down at that point, though, and I feel like that
maybe this is how he enjoys things. Hey, you ever thought of that? Maybe this is how he enjoys things.
That's fair. I will also say a couple more things. The quote is even nastier because it was not even just, it was like Dylan Brooks didn't want it, Steven Adams didn't want it, John Morant definitely didn't want it. I know for a fact that T. Morant just absolutely did not want it. I'm like, damn, sheesh, you're just saying they can't fight. And then B, I know the conversation between Skip and Shannon on Undisputed was pretty funny with the whole, I talked down LeBron and all that stuff. So, yeah, those are my thoughts.
I mean, he apologized, and I didn't. My thing about that part of it is, which I loathed, when you felt like he was going to, he did. I'm just like, all right, man. Like Skip just said just tweet out some egregious shit about DeMar Hamlin in a game the other day, and he doubled down. He didn't apologize at all. Like, you know what I mean? And to me, Shannon in the moment at the game and getting into whatever is fine because he didn't like triple player or he was enjoying. Like remember when the Raptors in the finals,
Yeah.
they go to the playoffs and Drake was behind everybody talking trash and everything like that. That seemed like it was too much because Drake he has stake in the Raptors, right? He's like a minority owner, right?
And
Shannon's a fan. We know
Drake,
Shannon's a fan.
if we're gonna keep it a band,
And
he's fucking Drake.
he's Drake.
Like, we could just say
right.
He's fucking Drake. But yeah, go ahead.
Right, but Shannon didn't. Shannon's on the other side of the court, and I guess whatever he was said by Brooks was loud enough for him to be like, "All right, why don't you come over here and say it?" It could have ended at that, as you walk to the bench. But it's like guys start coming over and they escalated. Fine, I mean it's just a little back and forth, and then his dad, like John Moran's dad, coming in like kind of escalated even more. But to come and apologize to Fox, my family, my kids, my grandkids, like, do you see the contrast? Like Skip's like, no, I'm not apologizing. I'm not deleting a tweet. And then Skip, and Shannon's just like, yeah, he apologizes to everybody. That's the thing.
It's different standards, Case. You can just call it what it is. It's different standards.
Well, I know what the standards are.
Is it standards or is it different people?
I think it's
more.
I mean,
because
different people.
It's different people at one point because a part of it is different people because you have to maintain your level of I'm the villain. So and Skip doesn't care about anybody on Twitter. So like he's going to do what he does. People are going to tune in and going to hate watch him. And Shannon's uncle, he's Uncle Shay Shay. But we were on his side though. That's the thing. We were on his side. We were hey, that's wow. You crazy, Unc.
He probably felt like he needed to do that for himself. Like I don't think it strikes me like he wasn't prompted to do it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I wasn't there. He didn't say it. But it strikes me like he just felt like he needed to do that for himself. Whereas Fox was begging Skip, just, hey, man, you got to do something. And Skip was like, fuck that. I'm doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling down. And that's Skip Bayless. He's just going to do what Skip Bayless does. But the whole event was funny. And I missed that part because I don't know, I must have dozed off. Yeah, I'm old. I was dozing off at whatever, 10 p.m. on a Friday, whatever point it was, this was happening. I get up. I get a text like, did you see Shannon Sharpe? I'm like, why are you texting me about Shannon Sharpe on Friday evening at like 11:25 p.m.? go turn to ESPN, go turn on Twitter, whatever you got to do, and type in his name. I'm like, okay, let's go see what's happening. I see Shannon's big ass with that nice sweater. Ain't gonna lie,
yes.
Very nice sweater. His big ass trying to take on the entire city of Memphis, basically. I'm like, oh, that's what's going on in this Friday evening. That's great. I love entertainment. So thank you, Shannon, for bringing it on. And I saw the whole timeline was basically divided. Like people saying, Shannon is a spectator. He wasn't even in the NBA, blah, blah. And I'm like, I understand all of that stuff. Okay, cool. Look, you got to be a really bad person for me to side with Dylan Brooks over you, buddy. I don't even give a fuck about the context. You got to be a really bad person for me to side with Dylan Brooks. That's everything about Dylan Brooks annoys me. How he he talks way too crazy for somebody who every time like John Morant misses a game or Desmond Bane misses a game, this guy decides, yo, it's Dylan Brooks time, and he proceeds to put up 6 for 28, and that kind of guy just can't be talking that crazy. I'm sorry, like he's a good defender. He ain't a bad NBA player. He's cool. He's what? Poor man's John Starks? Like, congrats? Like, what do you want me to do? Congratulate you for doing that? Like, you want to talk that crazy? Like, I'm not siding with nobody over I'm not siding with Dylan Brooks over nobody. So I'm glad Shannon Sharpe did what he did. I don't know what Dylan Brooks said. I'm assuming it was some bullshit because it's fucking Dylan Brooks. So I'm glad that he said it because it set off entertainment. The Memphis Grizzlies, as much as people don't necessarily like how they carry themselves, they're entertaining. I thought John Morant. I think John Morant's great. I thought the hollow tips tweet was a little weird. Like, buddy, you're not gonna shoot nobody. Like, relax, calm down. You're not 50 Cent. Like, calm down, relax. You're not gonna shoot nobody. How they operate for a team that hasn't won anything is people have a problem with that. Okay, cool. I'd rather they do that than be quiet. Like, it's boring if you're fucking quiet. They're loud. And hey, when they lose, we can all make jokes at their expense. So it was great for me. So I enjoyed it. The apology was what it was. I wish he wouldn't have done it because I'm not a big fan of apologies, but you don't do nothing wrong. But personally, he wanted to do that, and I'm not sitting here judging him. I'm just talking about from my perspective. If I ain't doing nothing wrong, fuck you. I ain't apologizing. If you start shit with me and I answer you, especially fuck you, I'm not apologizing for nothing. But that's just me,
Yeah.
one man's opinion.
I agree with you
Listen,
said about his apology.
Yeah,
Right. I'm asking you. I'm asking you, Shaun, because you are. If you guys don't know Shaun, he is a hooper. He hoops all the time. So see video and being a hooper, people trash talk. People on the sidelines trash talk. When is it too much or too far? Like when is it like, all right, this is too much. This is something that you apologize for, and when is it just par for the course?
I think there's like certain magic words or like magic concepts that come into play where it's like, as a grown man, I don't care where we're at or what's going on, I'm not about to take that. Like, you feel me? I always tell people while we're hooping, man, keep it hoop, keep it a basketball. Like, no matter what, you can say I can't shoot, you can say this, that, we can do all that. You could say I'm trash, I could say you trash, we could be busting each other's asses, but you take it to like the P word or like like anything crazy like that. Now you got to stand on that, and so I feel like Dylan Brooks said a magic word, and it was like, oh, no, you got to come over here and say that right here now. Like, I don't care. And that's why, like, I think that, Kev, you're right. I believe that apology seemed so genuine that it was like, that was for him. Like, that apology was for him. He didn't like that. Because at the end of the day, he made a spectacle. Like, or a spectacle was made. And he was at the center of it. And that's not what he went to the game for. And that's not, so it's like, I appreciated that angle of the apology. But, yeah, like, Shannon Sharpe doesn't strike me as a guy who goes around looking to pick fights. Courtside at basketball games, especially. So something was really, really said where it's like, nah, you got to stand on that. I don't care where we are. I don't care if this is national television. Stand on that right now. And I respect that, honestly, because I don't tolerate disrespect either.
Yeah, and we've seen pro athletes do it. Like, the whole thing with Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. He said one of the magic words. I mean, the most egregious thing we've ever heard, confirmed or not, Kevin Garnett, listen, to this day, I don't know if it hasn't been confirmed. I'm not going to repeat it. But whatever he said was enough for Carmelo to meet him at the bus like, yo, what's up, bro? You have certain things you have to stand on. So I don't blame Shannon if a magic word was said. And I think it was escalated more so as everybody walked over to it. I think sometimes we have to play this role where it's like, all right, my man says something crazy and somebody says stand on it, and you just gotta walk away because you instigated it. Let's go. You started. You shouldn't have said that. We'll deal with that later. And it just turns into a whole other thing. You know what I mean? But I wasn't for the apologies, and I only say that I wasn't for the apologies just because of what Skip said and what he did, and then it's like he was not apologetic. But again, this is character stuff. This is a lot of it is cosplay. So
I'll say two things before we move on or whatever. One, Spike Lee is a better man than me because that whole Reggie Miller episode from '94 where Reggie was grabbing his crotch and saying stuff like,
and his wife was there,
and his wife was there, right? I mean,
his wife was there.
What he would have to see me, and I'm not going to go too far with Carmelo stuff because I know we have Carmelo fans watching this, and I know I have Carmelo fans recording with me right now. If Carmelo wanted to fight Kevin Garnett, he had a lot of time to do so. I'm not interested in hearing about, oh well, he met him in the back. I'm not interested in hearing that. If he wanted to fight him, he could have fucking fought him. He could have fought him. I'm not here.
Nah, KG was ducking. KG was ducking and hiding.
On the court? They were on the court together. What do you mean they was ducking?
Yeah, but look, a lot of players are always saying, yo, see me in the back. Like, don't mess with the money. Don't mess with the money. We're not gonna do this out here because nobody.
But he got fined anyway, didn't he?
But the thing is, nobody really fights on the court. So true. You can't fight on the court. Even if you look like you're about to fight on the court, it's gonna get broken up. I don't want this to get broken up. I don't want to do a pushing and shouting match. See me in the back.
But allegedly, if what was said was true, I don't know if it was or it wasn't. I feel like that's kind of the one instance where you kind of got to rumble on the court then.
Yeah, I feel you. But hey, do you remember Doug Christie and who was in the tunnel? Doug Christie and Fox. Listen,
his wife was real.
Yo, Jackie was there with the bag. Yo,
nah,
that was
I don't do the nostalgia with like 90s and 2000s basketball, but god damn it, I missed the fights. Oh, I missed the fights. They were so good when people actually fought. Like I'm talking about when Greg Anthony was coming off the bench with a fucking party shirt trying to fight people. I'm talking about them kind of fights. Not this, yo, hold me back, bro, hold me back. Which okay, cool, but then you can't talk crazy. Like that's my thing. Just don't talk crazy about what you're gonna do. You're gonna do. None of
You
y'all
don't
are gonna
miss-
fight, and that's fine. You don't want to get fined. I get it. You don't want to get suspended. I understand that. Miss me with the studio gangster talk. Don't like. We don't care. Like you're not gonna fight.
So you
There's
didn't
a
like when the
select
Miami.
few. Go ahead.
So you didn't like when the
I
Miami
like
Heat.
what you're about to bring up. No,
Oh.
I won't even let you finish your question. No, when he did the fucking photo op in the back when Jokic was when Jokic took out
Oh
what's
my
his name?
goodness.
That was so
Marquise
Yes.
Morris. Yes.
that was so
Yo.
bad. He did that fucking studio gangster bullshit in the back with the photo op in front of the door, like they was gonna do something. Like, man, if you wanted to break the door down, you could have. What are we doing here?
That Miami Heat situation was prime. What are you doing? But I think I have a better what are you doing situation. Dennis Daly, what are you doing?
Yo,
What are you doing?
Beautiful.
What are you doing, Dennis Daly? Shaun, are you familiar with what Dennis Daly was up to?
I am not familiar.
Oh, goodness.
You're in for a
Well.
doozy, Shaun.
Oh,
You're in
goodness
for a
gracious.
doozy, buddy.
Dennis Daly, who plays for the Tennessee Titans, apparently got put on the Summer Jam screen on Twitter by a young lady who strips. I don't know her name. But he was doing a little backsliding and backstroking in the DMs, and he tried to what's the proper word, Kev?
He tried to meet up.
Request her services.
Right, there you go.
That's
Jay. I want to be politically correct. For the amount of $300.
Yes.
Now, apparently, the young lady, she doesn't divulge her services at all for money. But if she did, it would be upwards of 10,000 or more, and he wasn't feeling that. So, the crazy about the exchange, though, is that I guess she said something about the bad season he had. She started talking about like him having a bad season, and he took it personally.
Very personally.
And started with the jabs like, "Yo, I live a better life than you. I don't know what you talk about. Like you just blank." He didn't curse her out though. He didn't curse her out. I'll give him that much. He didn't call out her name for what I saw or whatever. But he did try to take it to like my feelings. Ow, my feelings. Or in the words of Kevin Hart, oh, my pussy hurts. He definitely went.
Ironic.
He definitely went that route. So, I guess my question would be now. I don't have a question for this. Like, I'm a big advocate for professional athletes paying for sex. Except for like I'm fine with transactional opportunities for athletes. Keep it transactional.
Wow.
Don't marry anybody.
Transactional opportunity. Wow,
Right. Keep it
we're really getting
transactional. Don't
euphemisms out
marry.
here today.
Right.
Right.
We really giving the euphemisms. Yes.
Don't. Like I tell Kev, Derek Jeter did it the best. NDAs, paperwork, no cell phones. In and out, let people decide, speculate. And when he was all said and done, he got married, he has kids, settled down, did all that extra stuff. So I'm for transactional opportunities. But I just think Dennis he needs a class or a lesson about who to approach. So, Shaun, I guess my question would be to you.
Wow, put him on the
Have you ever
No.
propositioned a lady of the evening?
Wow, that's not what I was expecting the question. All right, man, let's keep going. Let's see where it's going.
Because my thing is, where do you go with this? Like, have you ever propositioned a lady of the evening, and what was the credit limit?
He said no.
Okay, so
He said no. He said no.
One, I haven't. Two, as a professional athlete, I feel like because I'm not in that market, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like if it's 300, you probably shouldn't want it.
That's what she said. That's what she said. That's what she said.
She said if you're paying 300, you're gonna get a nice surprise with it. Is what she said.
Yeah, if it's 300, that don't sound like you should do that. Like if you're gonna be in the market, you gotta really be in the market. Like you feel me? You can't. Like, that's like paying $500 for a car. Like you're not gonna get a good car. Like, and then and then I feel like sympathy for him just based on like beyond paying for any of that stuff, whatever. Like how you like you said, transactional, do what you got to do. But like, how humbling it must be to try to buy some sex and then to have her tell you about your season. Can you imagine?
You missed the best line. She said, "I'm better at my job than you, bro." She said,
"Yeah, she did. She did."
Oh boy, that's a burn.
Like, I can't imagine, even without the transaction. Like, if I was like to hop in a shorty DMs or whatever and be like, "Yo, blah blah blah, what's going on? What's up?" And she was like, "Yo, I'm not gonna lie, your post game show was kind of mid. I don't really like your takes." I'd be like, "Damn."
That is crazy.
Your transitions need work. Like what?
Yeah.
June, you're the breadwinner of this
that's a fact.
Quartet.
He rich.
I will say with Dennis Daly, there's a couple of things. I feel like since he's a professional athlete and he plays for an NFL, I feel like he would be in better spots. He should be in better spots than propositioning random women on Instagram. I'm sure he has teammates. I'm sure those teammates most likely also participate in those things, if we're being perfectly honest. I'm sure he could have probably asked his teammates, "Hey, who should I talk to? Where should I go?"
I don't know about that, Jude, because we're the last athlete to ask his teammates about where to go to for massages.
I mean, I think that was his thing and not like anyone else. But I will say, I feel like
he had handlers.
Handlers is hilarious.
Handlers is what we're going with here.
Handlers is crazy.
All right, that's
very crazy. And if you're going to go on your own, I feel like as a professional athlete, anyone knows how much money a professional athlete makes, and he offered an amount that I don't. Yeah,
it's that you could afford. Let's say it,
it's kind of
he offered an amount that you and I would be like $300 to me. To you and I, $300. Yeah, it's kind of might be a little steep. You know what I mean? You might miss a bill for the weekend, but $300 for him is,
it's like you like throwing your money on the floor. It's like throwing $1 on the floor for any of us and just walking away. That's why it's just like, hey, let me just throw money at this pussy right here and just walk away. So, I mean,
if you think that's bad, just wait till what I say. But keep going, Drew.
He kind of deserved to get exposed for like getting in his feelings about it, as Case and Kev would say. It's just like, okay, she rejected you, move on. What you did after that, you just embarrassed yourself even more. And then I'm sure he's getting roasted by his teammates about this, and I hope he learns his lesson in the future and becomes more discreet.
Kev, I'm gonna leave Kevin with this line. I went through shit none of you fans know. At the end of the day, I'm human.
All right. Number one, let me make myself very clear. I'm very pro buying pussy. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do with your money, go do it. I've never done it. If that's what you want to do, look, a lot of dating is trying to get to home plate anyway. So if you get to home plate by just floating around the bases, that's what you do. If you're just all right, man, I'm just gonna pay to let everybody move out my way and get to home plate. That's how you want to get down. Go for it. Now, what you just said about what was the quote you gave me again? Oh yeah, I'm human. This, that, and that. Okay, yeah, you're human. This is a really wild line to say to somebody after arguing back and forth with them for God knows how long. I don't know what time frame those messages were sent in. You just tried to buy pussy off of this woman for $300. You don't get to play the I'm human card. Sorry. Yes, you are. I get it. You had a bad year, blah, blah. You try to buy pussy off this woman for $300. She's not your therapist. She's not. Like, you don't get to do that. He did this, and then the other one I found really egregious. I laughed really good at this one when he said, oh yeah, point out the fact that I had a bad year, blah, blah, blah. You're trying to tear the black man down. How in the fuck can you go from trying to buy pussy for $300 to playing the I'm Black card? How you don't get to fucking do that, Dennis? What are you doing? If you try to make a fair transaction at the bare minimum, I could squint hard enough to see your case, because that might be cruel at that point. If you offered that woman $2,000, she was just on some bullshit, I could at least squint hard enough to be like, you might have a point there, brother. All right. Bro, you offered her Jordan's price, not even Jordan's. I'm not even Jordan's prices. Pretty much every pair of Jordan costs more than $300. You offered $300 for some pussy. You sitting here talking about, well, I'm human. How dare you talk about my bad season? Maybe block better, and we wouldn't be talking about this. You can't
offer her the Xbox small,
and then try to buy $300 pussy, and then be offended when people point out that you block poorly. Those things don't mix, bro.
Kev, if he was a Pro Bowler, do you think she would have went for 300?
No, no, but she would have had way less to talk about. She would have been with the I do my job better than you. Like my man is getting beat like a drum on the field and off it. That's a bad look, brother.
I just like how the conversation from transactional to like a heart to heart, because he was like, yeah, we know nothing about each other. That's understood, but the convo didn't have to go there. You try to take it. Oh, well, okay. But the convo didn't have to go there. You tried to take it. I'm not even that type of person. Just because I had a bad season, don't make me any less of a human. To which she responds,
this is coming from the guy who just tried to buy pussy for $300. That doesn't work.
Her response was funny because she goes, being a dancer as one small part of my life doesn't mean I have an inferior life, and it definitely doesn't mean I'm a prostitute. I just like the fact that there's levity to this conversation. I like the fact that he didn't call out her name.
Somebody said this was his way of scamming this was his way of scamming a free therapy session. And I found that really funny.
Maybe he needed someone to talk to. And listen, prostitutes are therapists to some people, man. And she's not a prostitute. I don't know her name. I don't know who this is.
I forget which. Like somebody cited a show that used to be on HBO about hookers, and they would like a startling number of them said the guys would just buy the time and to sit there and talk about their lives and their wives and all that.
Complain about their lives because
that seems really interesting that you're paying high level pussy prices. Let's call it what it is. That seems backwards to me, but I ain't in the
listen. I appreciate the fact that wherever he was, he's aware he had some. I mean, the price was disrespectful, but at least he didn't go far and do like most people, would do. Like you a dime store this and a B and an H and whatever. Like he didn't do that much. I give him that much. Give him some grace.
He had a perfect. The most disrespectful thing about that interaction was just the price, to be honest. Everything else about the interaction was just so respectful.
The price is so crazy because it's like it always confuses me with like pro athletes and things like that, like even Mr. Massage. Because like I'm not like some high level prolific, whatever. And it's like if I wasn't enough of a jam, I could find a woman somewhat interested. So it's like if you're gonna offer a shorty 300, you may as well have just tried to get it for free. Like I don't really understand the 300 thing.
Like, if he just said her DM like a normal person, none of this exists.
Hey, let's go to a VIP bar or something. She would have been all over that.
You could have taken her out for drinks and spent less than 300 and probably cracked. So it's just like what is the game plan here, man?
If you go offer prices for the pum pum, then just offer actual real life prices and not.
But Shaun, let me ask you this, Shaun, and I mean I think we've all met our fair share of professional.
I'm terrified
athletes.
of what you're about to ask me, by the way. But keep
going. No. This is a basic question.
Oh, okay.
Professional athletes, right? In your experience, some of them are corny. Like you look at them like, yo, if you weren't 6'8" and could ball, you would have no social skills whatsoever. Am I right or am I wrong?
That's a fact. That's an absolute fact.
So, and I feel like this is the problem. Like a guy like Dennis, maybe he did need somebody to talk to. Maybe he did, want to go out and he don't approach. He's like, hey, I heard through the grape 300 will get it done. And maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe, listen, maybe she likes to go out and be wined and dined. And he thought, and somebody told him, yo, Dennis, this chick right here for 300. You know what I mean? Maybe it was interpreted to him. He thought $300 would get the job done. Not let's go out and spend at minimum was 300. Then you're going to crack. But, so I feel like it's a combination of a lot going on. But I am a big advocate of this. Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, and somebody else. I don't know who else. They didn't have a class and teach these young dudes how to smash all these women, don't have any kids, no paternity suits, no rape cases or nothing, and then settle down and have a life. Because there are a few athletes who did it right, who just like, hey, I did everything. I've been with models, I've been with single mothers, I've been with movie, actresses and stuff like that. But
shout out to single moms. Single moms got the best snacks. So I've heard.
Yeah.
Keep going. So I've heard.
Spitting.
Wow. Got the best.
But yeah, man, I'm a big advocate for athletes learning a proper way to deal with women, so we have less touchy feelies, less Deshaun Cosby's and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Less situations where guys are just, hey man, pay these professional women, pay them top dollar, and get your rocks off and do it the right way, man. Don't be like Robert Kraft, who's a billionaire, getting caught in like Asian massage parlors for like $50.
I got one more thing to say about the topic. You brought up a point where you're like, he must have heard it through the grapevine, but maybe he heard from such and such, and he got false information. Like, yeah, bro. Maybe AJ Brown could get away with that. Yeah, he's good at his job. You get beat like a drum every fucking week. You can't get away with that shit. You cannot.
You think AJ told him?
No comment. I'm not gonna indict my man's like that. I love AJ Brown. No commentary. Listen, but if Derrick Henry was the one who said it, like Derrick Henry might be able to get away with that. His nickname is fucking King after all. He done ran 50,000 yards like 3 fucking times. He can say that. The guy with the worst PFF grade who gives up 3 sacks a week, probably not gonna go the same for you.
Probably
a little bit of self-awareness is key.
And the fact that she knew he was bad, she knows sports. She is. I don't know if she had to Google it, but
Titans Reddit. That's so I read. Yeah, yes, I got that deep into the rabbit hole. I was reading about her fucking status on fucking Reddit. Yes.
Hey, listen, I didn't even know all that, and I think our theories are correct. Speaking of shenanigans, Cowboys, Niners. Yeah.
Oh my God! I see Kev's face again. Oh my God!
Can we just fast forward? Do we want to fast forward to the end of the game, or do you want to just talk about how bad Dak was this season?
Dak is black, so I don't even want to talk about him like that. To be honest, I want to talk about the end of the game. More than enough on that. So
that's fair. That's fair.
I'll talk about the end of the game because there are a couple of things. The last drive was comical on so many fronts. First, let's start with the fact that that drive probably should have ended with a pick six. He threw a ball right to, I don't know who the 49ers DB was, but that was an easy pick six that should have ended the game. B, I think on that same drive, I think it was that same drive or like a drive before, but same drive, Amar Armstead, I think, he had Dak wrapped up for a safety. Didn't get it. And he had him like completely wrapped up. All he had to do was just wrap him up. And somehow he escaped from a safety. I'm like, okay. So you think normal, and like most circumstances, you think, oh, they're definitely going to punish him. But then bad play calling, and then Dalton Schultz. I don't know if he thought he was like the field was like stretched out an extra 4 or 5 yards, but he made absolutely no effort to get his second foot across. Like people got
this is after being pushed backwards out of bounds.
Yes,
keep going.
Mm-hmm. But like Elijah Moore, people got this super quick thing. People got Elijah Moore for not making a relatively difficult toe tap catch at the sideline in the Vikings game. But yeah, Dalton Schultz had no one around him. There was literally no one around him.
Nobody.
And all he had to do was just literally tap his foot, and like there was a good 2-3 yards of space he could have tapped his foot in to get in bounds and get out of bounds. He didn't do that. And then the final play, which yes, I get there's probably no chance of them winning that game. There was nothing conceivable that they could have done that would have given them a realistic chance to win the game. I'm always in favor of a Hail Mary, try to draw a pass interference and try again. But the one thing I'm not in favor of is a couple of things. I don't get why you're putting Ezekiel Elliott in center. I'm not sure what exactly that was going to accomplish. And the thing is, 49ers called a timeout, and that would have been a great time for anyone who's opposing that coaching staff to be like, hey, this is a stupid fucking idea. Let's not do this. But Mike McCarthy was like, yeah, let's just put Ezekiel Elliott. Okay. So Zeke Elliott's playing center. I'm actually shocked he snapped the ball because I thought it was just going to go over Dak's head. He snaps the ball. He snaps the ball. He looks up. He's dead on the ground. So he's dead on the ground. That gets it off to a receiver who's also dead on the ground upon arrival. So it's like, what the fuck was the point of that play? That's how you end your season, on that pointless fucking play. Like, it would have been better if Dak actually just ran it. At least you'd be like, okay, but that's stupid. That's how you end your season. We just seen a lot of seasons end so stupidly, and you gotta go. Gotta go.
So Jude.
Oh no.
What is it about Mike McCarthy that the guy who you were stumping for 3 years ago? I mean, shit, you were stumping for him last week. I'm talking about years ago. You were stumping for him last week. You couldn't wait if the Dallas Cowboys won that football game to sit here and dunk all over my head today. They lost. And now you're saying he should be fired. What changed between 2 days ago and today? What changed about his coach? Like, did anything that happened yesterday from a in-game tactical perspective surprise you?
No, not really. I think the big thing is with Mike McCarthy is he's a good coach. I don't want to get that twisted. He's a good, decent coach. His ceiling is what you saw yesterday. Maybe a playoff win, but probably a bad playoff loss. You're not going to get to the Super Bowl with him. You're not going to get to the conference championship with him. They could do better than Mike McCarthy. He's good for the regular season, but they can do better.
But if your standards are so far in hell, why are you then against Mike McCarthy? That these two
for the Jets they're in hell, but for the Cowboys and other teams, they should have higher standards.
Why would the standards be any different? The Cowboys didn't win a Super Bowl since 92? Why would it be any different? 95, whatever the fuck the year is.
I mean,
why would it be any different? Bro, the Cowboys just won their first road playoff game in 3 decades. Why would the standards be any different?
They poured a lot of money into that team, and they have a very.
When the Jets have it, the Jets pour money into the wrong people. That's a different discussion.
Yes, they pour money largely into the right people, and they have an extremely talented team. They should be better than having that be the end of their season.
I just don't understand how we're asking for Mike McCarthy to be fired to be the same fucking coach he's been for the last 10 years. Why would he deserve to be fired? I'm talking to you directly, not anybody else. You.
Oh, jeez. Is this the ISO again?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's every episode. Every episode. I'm Mark Jackson. I'm backing you down from half court. Yes, that's what we're doing right now.
One hand.
Okay, but there's no rules that are being put in place to stop me. But go ahead.
All I'm just saying is just, if I'm Jerry Jones, I take a long, hard look and I think to myself, what can the Cowboys be more than what they are right now? With what they have right now, with their coaching, with their players, can they be more? The answer is no, they can't. They probably should get rid of Mike McCarthy. I like Dak. I think Dak's a good player. He's had a bad season, but I think he's a good player. But Mike McCarthy, if they fired him this year or next year, I won't be surprised. I feel bad for him because he tried his best.
I don't give a fuck if you're surprised. Nobody, if Mike McCarthy gets fired, yeah, they ain't won shit. Yeah, no shit. It wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired. I just want to know why you your sliding scale of standard for other teams compared to the Jets is really funny. And your sliding scale, depending on what you feel at a particular minute on a particular day, is really funny to me as well. Because Mike McCarthy ain't changed. He been the same dodo he's been for the last 10 years. Same dodo. This is what Mike McCarthy does. Like, Mike McCarthy's been skating on Aaron Rodgers being a superhuman and the Dallas Cowboys being loaded for his whole career, basically. His whole career. The minute Aaron Rodgers wasn't a superhuman, Mike McCarthy got fucking fired. That's not a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
They won one playoff game against an under 500 team in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
What changed? Like, what changed about Mike McCarthy? And now he was, the Cowboys have higher expectations. Based on what exactly? Based on what?
I mean, I got a question though. How much of it yesterday was Mike McCarthy? How much was Dak? Because Dak was bad. All right. So
Mike McCarthy's calling card is what again?
Hold on. When Dak was out and his back, who's his backup?
Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas was playing pretty good with Cooper Rush. Not saying he's better than Dak. Listen, I'm not saying he's better than Dak. But my question is, how much of yesterday is on Dak? Because if you want to give coaching acumen to McCarthy, they did well with Cooper Rush, right? So I mean, you got to give him some credit for some of the season because Cooper Rush played over 5-6 games. But yesterday, and even the game the Cowboys were supposed to be resting their players or whatever. They played their stars and they lost that last game of the regular season. Yeah. Dak looked horrible against the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
So
He did.
I mean, I think for the most part, outside of the end of the game, which was on McCarthy, Dak is. Dak is looking kind of like
He's
Don't say.
the thing with that.
Don't.
The thing with
No,
that
let him.
is
No,
that,
let him fucking finish. I want to hear what the hell you're about to say. Go ahead, say it.
Oh no,
say it.
I'm not going to say average, but
Oh, I thought you were going to bring up a specific name. I was about to fly off the handle. All right, keep going.
No, I wasn't bring up a name of quarterback.
Oh,
no,
thank God. I was about to fly off the handle.
No,
All right, go ahead,
I think he's kind of like average to slightly good. He went from somebody who you would think would be a top 7 quarterback in the league to maybe falling under 13, between 13 and 15 at this point right now.
I think
can you so it's like they got rid of Amari Cooper, which was funny. I didn't understand why they got rid of Amari Cooper.
Me, bro, Zeke runs at 8.240 at this point. They still paying that man $20 million. But Amari Cooper, they had to let go for cap reasons. Okay. All right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And you see who's Pollard went out, what the offense looked like without Pollard, right? And it's like, all right, clearly Pollard, and of course Pollard got hurt. Clearly Pollard should be the guy instead of Zeke. So there's a lot I feel like that's being left to desired in Dallas. But as far as McCarthy and Jerry's not firing him. He's a Jerry. Only time a coach gets fired is when they stop being a Jerry guy. That's the only time. If you're a Jerry guy and you're not rocking the boat, you're not second guessing what he does as a owner.
But when they did let Jason Garrett coach for mad long.
But when did Jason Garrett ever stop? Yeah, but when did he ever stop being a Jerry guy, Jason Garrett? That's the thing.
Yeah, but the results on the field were just nasty. It was just nasty.
I mean, but he never stopped being a Jerry guy, technically. But it was so nasty to the point where he was just like, all right, man, it's like what 8 years now of being 7-8 going to week 16. All right, enough. We gotta stop.
It's like it was terrible. But now to the last play of the game, and I'm gonna pass this to Shaun. Shaun, you've seen the movie Little Giants, right?
Yes, of course.
I mean, was this the annexation of Puerto Rico? What were they trying to do on this play?
I think the wildest part about this play when I watched it, it's like, they practiced this. Like, I think that's the wildest part of it. It's like it's not like they were just like they did it like it was backyard football. It was like they drew, you remember when you used to draw the play up on the football?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. But it's like, nah, this is a thing that they practice. Like if we're ever in this situation, this is what we're gonna do. And I just don't know. I feel like somebody should lose their job off that alone. Like what exactly was going on here? Like, yeah, down to like Zeke being the one to snap it. Like just what's happening? Like, what is the goal here? And then you ran a slant. Like
that's the part I don't understand. Like what's the goal part is the biggest question. Like what is the idealistic plan for this to work?
I think what would make it, I mean, it probably wasn't going to work, but what would make it work if they had, actual eligible receivers near the offensive linemen, all those offensive linemen on the other side. I don't know how the eligible receivers formations all work, but I'm sure they could have done something.
Zeke wasn't eligible. That's the only person they said.
Yeah, he wasn't eligible.
He was on the line.
Yeah, but they still
could allow him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it's like,
and then
that works when you're like at maybe the 5-yard line. Okay, if you're at the 5, I mean, you will run a conventional play.
No, it does not work at the 5-yard line.
Bro, that don't work. 5, 50, 30, 100, 120.
I'm trying to give benefit to the doubt, but there's none. Never.
Why? Why?
Stop
defending the indefensible. You don't have to do this.
Let me just ask. We've seen wacky formations in football, right? Mm-hmm. In the NFL, none of them has worked, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe I think this team in college had maybe tried like 3 down linemen or whatever the case may be, whatever. But the point of that, I'm watching it. I'm like, all right, he snapped it, and then Dak threw a slant, and then that way he got to run to the left. Like, was that going to be the lateral guy? Like, was it a toss back or whatever? Like, it just doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work. These wacky formations. Everybody knows the 30 laterals are going to come. Just drop a real play. Drop a real play.
And it doesn't even have to be complicated. That's the best part because nobody expects you to do shit. So it's just like you drawing up this shit where Zeke is snapping the ball. Poor Zeke is going to be a GIF for like the next year because Mike McCarthy decided, you know what, we're going to do this bullshit. Poor Zeke is like, it's not going to work, but fine, let's go along with this. Snaps the ball. He's on the ground in 0.2. And then the wide receiver gets flattened. Everybody just like, well, why are we here? Like the Dallas Cowboys just want to end their season in humorous fashion. You know what? I thank them for it. They give us content.
They gave us content.
Appreciate
it reminded me of that fourth down. I think it was on like Monday Night Football, like the last year, 2 years ago. I don't know, time flies. And I can't remember who was playing. It might have been. I feel like it was the Colts or the Titans.
Oh,
that like
wasn't
fake
that
punt they did.
Oh,
where
yeah,
he like
that-
snapped
yeah,
it. And it was like,
yeah.
yo, like, where were you going with this?
You know what's funny? That was 8 years ago, believe it or not.
Damn, no
It was
way.
Yeah.
8 years ago.
Yes.
8 years
Yes.
ago.
But no, somebody did
14.
something recent in
9
more
years
recent years. Didn't
There
the
was something
Giants
more
do
recent?
something? Didn't the
Because-
Giants do something like that? Weird.
They did a
like,
quarterback
weird-
sneak. They did a quarterback
Oh
sneak.
yeah, they
like
did a quarterback sneak from inside their own one. But like
Yeah.
he's
That was
talking about
8
the
years
point
ago?
formation. Yeah, it was the Colts
Yes.
Patriots on Sunday night.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll never forget it because I was at my boy's crib watching, and I saw them line up. I'm like, okay, they're gonna get them. They're gonna try to get them outside, like whatever. So I get up to take a trip to the bathroom. So I'm just assuming that they're gonna try and get them offside. They're gonna call a timeout or whatever they do, bro. I saw him snap the ball, and my detour went from bathroom to exit. I was like, I'm not watching this no more. For what? I'm going home. Like, no, sir, I'm going home. Like they bro. It was like 4th and 5, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't even like it was 4th and 1 where maybe you could sneak it past them and surprise them. It was like 4th and 5, and they actually snapped the ball. And this is why I couldn't be the owner of a team, because everybody would be fired, dog. Not
Everybody.
even like not at the end of the game, not at the end of the quarter. They
Immediately.
would have zoomed up to me in the skybox, and it would be like, nope,
You would
gotta
have
go.
you'd have those pink slips ready. You would
Gotta
be
go.
like, Where's the pink slips?
They
Right now.
gonna see my back as I exit the skybox to come down to the field. And
Like,
then everybody's
oh,
fired.
Oh, you're
They
coming
put
down
up
to the
on
field.
billboard. Fired.
You'd been like the episode of Martin. With
Yes. Yes. Right. It would be like fired. Fired.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen.
Attention,
The
ladies
whole-
and gentlemen. Who's the Oh yeah, Chuck Pagano. Chuck Pagano
Yeah.
is now fired. And they pan the camera to me just like, Mr. Check's clear.
That makes
Check's
sense.
clear. At least he's still Mr. Pagano at the bank.
Oh man.
Oh,
Moving
my
on to
goodness.
another game. I don't have a transition for this, but I just love the title. If you guys like this. Burrow is for real.
Oh Lord.
What?
Oh
is-
brother.
You know,
This is horrible,
Bengals,
okay.
Tiger, for real.
I see what you did there.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. I
Why are you
appreciate it.
gassing him up? Why? You're a great guest, Sean, but why are you gassing this man up? This wasn't good.
That's,
Hey, it could be
that's
worse.
the
He
man
could be
who knows
gassing you
puns.
up. Anyway, carry on.
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah, the Bengals, I guess if you want to say shook up the world, I don't like everybody had Bills Chiefs in a rematch of last year's divisional. And you know what I mean? Like Kev said, you know, they made the overtime rules for the Bills and everything like that. You know,
Don't ruin part of my soliloquy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm stepping on your lines.
And let me go
Stepping on
last on this
cocaine
topic,
lines.
please. Thank you. You go.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, the Bengals. I remember we have a conversation with DJ when the Bengals lost the Super Bowl, and he was like, "Man, I don't think the Bengals will go back. Man, that window might have closed." And we kind of were agreeing like how hard it is to go back. They're in another AFC Championship after the disappointing season last season, and they look like they're for real. And Joe Burrow looks like he's for real. And I love what he had to say post game.
That chip on your shoulder, everyone talking about a neutral AFC Championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
Talk to him.
Get your money back.
Talk to him.
Call
to
will
him.
call.
All this
Call-
bills that all fucking week. Talk to him, Joe.
Get your money back. And for those who don't know, the reason why that whole neutral site situation was going to happen is because, unfortunately, when DeMar Hamlin got hurt, they had to basically, you know, call a game a tie or whatever, a draw, and it kind of messed the
They
seedings.
canceled it altogether.
They canceled it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It kind of
canceled.
messed. It kind of messed up with the seedings and stuff like that. So if the Bills and the Chiefs did meet in the AFC Championship, it would have been a neutral site, nobody getting a home game, which also led to a conversation about people saying, should there be neutral sites, which I totally vehemently disagree with. It's bad enough that if you're a fan, if your team goes to the Super Bowl, you're not going to be able to go unless you're a season ticket holder. Because they said they reserve a certain amount of tickets for because if your home team goes and you're a season ticket holder, they have reserved those tickets, some of them tickets for season ticket holders, whatever. But if you're not a season ticket holder, let's say the Jets were to go to the Super Bowl, you really have to try to spend your life savings just to go attend the game. I think neutral sites are cool for like specialty games, like maybe like you know Christmas games or like you know Arbor Day games, whatever the fuck make it.
Arbor Day.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like what random day would be special enough for a game, right? But yeah, just like because neutrals like
so
neutral site in college works for bowl games because it just works. You know what I mean? These kids, you know, they get the money to go. Students are allowed to go and stuff like that. It works. Travel team, it works for college. I don't think it works for professional sports because the amount of money that people have to spend. You know what I mean? Considering travel, hotel, and all that stuff like that. The neutral site thing was crazy, but I just love the fact that Joe Burrow talked his shit after he won. He didn't say nothing before. After he won, and he carried himself like he's legit. Joe Burrow's legit. So, Shaun, I know you found great joy with the Bengals beating the Buffalo Bills yesterday. What are your thoughts, like in total, about the Bills, about the Bengals? What's going on?
So Burrow is indeed for real. I really like Joe Burrow. I mean, I like him on the field, but I think I like him just as much off the field. Like that answer he had right there, like there was no hesitation at all. Like it was like he was ready for that. Like he was waiting for that question. And so the better send those refunds. That's a great one-liner. I also loved because the thing is, I love when I'm able to love somebody's responses. I don't even watch his conferences. I don't even like look for Joe Burrow content. But like just recently, they asked him about the window for the Bengals Super Bowl, and he was like, "Our window is my entire career." And I was like, "That's the swaggiest shit I ever heard, bro." Like, what? Talk to him. Talk to him. So to say that and then go right back to the AFC Championship, like, you know, he talks well, but he backs it up. Or I don't know if he plays well and backs it up well with his talk. Like one of the two. Like they're both elite. And then
he's what Jamal Adams wishes he could. He's what Jamal Adams wishes he could be, to be honest.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Like he actually has that confidence and backs up that confidence.
Itching to defend his man's. Itching to defend him.
But yeah, no, I was really glad to see the Bills lose. You know, because I had to root for the Bills the week before just because anybody but the Dolphins. But
Amen,
but it was nice to see the Bills lose. You know, get the entire AFC East out of there. I also think that like I think the Bills are like they're good, but like I don't think they're that good. Like and the reason is because the Jets have been asked for years, and even in years we've been asked, we've like played the Bills pretty well. Like I just don't. The Bills don't strike a lot of fear in me. I'm glad that the Bengals took care of them. I think that Josh Allen is like one of the more overrated players in sports, period. I think that like nobody ever talks about the fact that like he's not the greatest, like he's not the greatest thrower of the football. Like, and I'm not like some football savant or anything like that, but like I remember I tweeted that one time and everybody was like going crazy on me, like, oh, how could you say that, blah blah blah. And it's just like, I mean, I don't know. I watched him miss. There was a playoff game they had against the Titans a couple years ago. And I watched him throw them out of that game. Like he just missed some of the simplest throws. Like where it's just like no quarterback that you are calling elite should miss throws like this. Is he an elite football player? Yes, he's a great dual threat. But like, you know, nobody ever talks about. You know, I'm gonna let Kev have it because this is his.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, nobody talks about it, but it needs to be talked about because he gets away with it. And you know, great player, very talented. Won't take it from him, but. I don't like some of what happens in terms of how he's covered and how other players are covered.
To your point, Shaun, there's one person who is hard on Josh Allen. That's Bomani Jones. And there's a lot of pushback to what Bomani says. And he says it's pretty much the same thing, that Josh Allen is a tremendous athlete. He has a great arm, but he does feel like that guy he's not going to win. As much as he's going to win you a game, he's going to lose you a game. And I'd point to the Jets win over them, the 16-10 victory. Josh Allen threw some questionable balls, especially one in the red zone, and I think the other interception he threw. I think he threw 2 interceptions in that game. They were questionable. And there was a matter of fact, during that stretch when we won, he was throwing a lot of picks. And I had highlighted that, like, he's throwing these, he's kind of reverting back to first year Josh Allen, just a guy who has a talent, but sometimes in between the ears, he doesn't get it. He just makes these mistakes. But tremendous athlete, huge body, huge arm, hard to deny his talent. Stephon Diggs did something. People talk about being just demonstrative, right? And people were talking about Garrett Wilson, throwing his hands up and stuff like that. Man, Stephon Diggs went straight up Jesus pose in front of Josh Allen. Like, I don't know what he said. His back was turned to the camera, but if we're talking about this demonstrative and showing someone up, that was it. And it's funny because some Jets fans are like, oh, maybe you should trade him to another team. Stephon Diggs is under contract till he's like 33. Diggs is going to be in Buffalo
forever.
Yeah, they're not moving him for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that. Well, I don't hope they mend it. I hope that it never mends and it works out for us. But that's how frustrating it was to see Josh Allen play yesterday. He was not playing like a guy who went toe to toe with Mahomes last year. I'm Jude, and then of course we're gonna let Kev go last. Go ahead, Jude.
So to talk about several aspects of that game, I guess I'll start with Diggs as well. I was at the bar with Marlon and Joe and some other guys. And one thing that that bet on Stephon Diggs to score. And the funny thing is, after like the second quarter, I think where Stephon Diggs may have had a little injury or something, I don't think Josh Allen barely looked at him for the rest of the game, which is so unusual because it's like I can't imagine he's doubled every single snap that you don't even bother to look at him. And on the last play of the game, he throws it to Cole Beasley, a deep heave to Cole Beasley of all people, which is interesting, considering you have Stephon Diggs. Overall, Josh Allen, I think I can see where Shaun's coming from in that he could be overrated. I still think he's a pretty good quarterback. He's at no worse top 5 as of right now. But the thing is that when I said last week, you can make those turnovers. You can turn the ball over all you want against the fucking Dolphins because they suck and they can't get out of the huddle. You can't do that against actual good teams. And when Josh Allen played actual good teams in the Bengals and still turn the ball over, this is what happens. I will also say that in terms of what the Jets do with him, just super quickly, most of Josh Allen's worst games have come against the Jets, believe it or not. Like, more often than not, you're not going to find him stunting the yard over the Jets. You're going to find some pretty mediocre to pedestrian to downright bad games versus the Jets. So, and it's come across different coaches. Itself, Joe Burrow's definitely cold. He's such a great leader. He has a lot of swagger. He's great back to just talk off that stuff. The Bengals defense was not the Bengals defense. The Bills defense was very, very poor. And I say poor in the fact that I don't think in the first half there were any contested passes. And I'm not even talking about like a guy's like in someone's face. I'm talking like a guy's in the area.
Yeah, they had all kinds of space.
Like, not only did Joe Burrow have all kinds of time to throw, he had all kinds of space to throw. So it's like, you're not getting pressure, and you're not getting pressure on the back end. What the fuck are you doing? And now, I see it happen sometimes in Madden. Madden, if someone's completing every single one of their passes like that, I'm just like, you know what? My pass rush can't do anything before. Just dropping 3 back, and no, not dropping 3. Dropping 8 back, rushing 3. If you find someone,
I know you suck at Madden.
I do, but I'm just saying you.
I just wanted to add that. Go ahead.
I'm listening. I'm just listening to that. Like, what?
Pass rush is not working.
No, I'd hang 63 with a blindfold on Jude. Anyway, go ahead.
Some guys get confused when they drop 8 back, and sometimes you just gotta be super duper conservative there. But in all seriousness, whatever the Bills were doing weren't working. I put a little bit more blame on the defense and the offense because honestly, you can't just give up wide open passes and no pressure like that left and right. But Josh Allen wasn't playing that particularly well either. So, and you can live with it if he's throwing 3 or 4 touchdowns, but he hasn't been doing that. So yeah.
Kev, final word on Bengals Bills. I know you've been waiting patiently.
I've been itching, and I love that Jude ended with that whole blame the defense more because that's going to lead into what I'm saying. But before I get into the others on the team, I'll talk about Diggs since you brought him up. His tweets after the game, not after the game, sorry, as of like 2 hours ago. You want me to be okay? You want me to be okay with losing? Nah. You want me to be okay with our level of play when it's not up to the standard? Nah. It's easy to criticize the reaction more than the result. I'll say this for Diggs and wide receivers in general. And as I tweeted, you got to look a certain way or play a certain position to be able to react like that and it be labeled as passion or he just wants to win. Because I've been watching Tom Brady throw bitch fits on the sideline for 25 years, and it's always labeled as passion. And I'm not even here to deny that it's passion. I'm not here to deny that. We all claim we want athletes to care about winning, but only certain ones get labeled as caring about winning when they start being angry when they're losing. And the thing with the wide receivers that pisses me off is that everybody likes to to write it off as they're just mad that they're not getting the ball. Have you ever thought that if they got the fucking ball more, they might be winning? Like, why is that just an impossible thought to cross people's minds? Like when T.O. was losing his mind on the sideline with Jeff Garcia or whoever the fuck, and they're down 24-10 the second quarter. You ever think he's mad because he thinks he could impact the game and the quarterback's not looking his way? You ever think that's why he's fucking mad? Well, he's just mad because he's not getting the ball. Hey, if he gets the ball more, they might fucking win. Hello? But that being said, the Bills. All right, so the Josh Allen thing. I think he's great. Let me make that clear. Great watch, great player, all of that. Let me make that clear. And I don't, while yesterday to me was more on him than anybody else because he stunk in a way that nobody else did. And you can't win any playoff game scoring 10 points. You can talk whatever you want about their defense. They were not good. Fine. Mm-hmm. But everybody tells me every single week that you could put the team on his back. And he has done this before, and he's going to carry you to the finish line. He didn't do that. So I'm not really trying to hear about the defense because I would not be hearing about the defense if they had won the game. I'd be hearing all about fucking Josh Allen this and Josh Allen that. With that said, if you're going to consistently put this man in company he doesn't belong in, a.k.a. Mahomes, they love to tell me after every really pretty throw Josh Allen makes or after every really good game he has, oh, he's just as good as Mahomes in the same tier. No, the fuck he's not. If you're going to put him in that company, then the positive press that he gets when they win, the negative press has to also be there. I'm just asking you. I don't care if you're smart. I don't care if you're dumb. I don't care if you got smart opinions, dumb opinions, good opinions, bad opinions. Be consistent. There's no reason why on this fine Monday evening, that all day I've heard how they should send Dak Prescott with a one-way ticket to fucking Siberia when nobody even expects shit out of Dak Prescott in the first place. And I disagree with that. I think he's good. But people tell you all year, every year, Dak is a fraud, Dak is a fraud, Dak is a fraud. So if he shows you he's a fraud, why the fuck is the reaction this way then? All year, Josh Allen's good as Mahomes. They gave Josh Allen the fucking MVP in March. By St. Patrick's Day, they tried to give this man the MVP. He throws up one touchdown in 4 quarters, and now I got to hear about the water boy, the towel boys, the equipment managers, the personal trainers, the wing spot across the street, the dildos they thrown on the field. I got to hear about everybody but him. That's not how the fuck this works, or at least that's not how this is supposed to work. And on top of that, this is after last year where they gave up 42 points in a playoff game, and they had a 3-point lead with 13 seconds left and made the brilliant fucking decision to kick the damn ball through the end zone when they could have squibbed it and actually ran more time off the clock. They let Kelsey run up the seams uncontested for reasons unknown to anybody, get a field goal kicked on them. The Chiefs get the ball first in overtime, and the rest is history. And then the Bills are the victim here, is what I'm being told after the game. We're supposed to feel sorry for them when they gave up 42 fucking points and they blew a 3-point lead with 13 seconds left. And now we got to make rules because these people lost a fucking road playoff game. Meanwhile, Mahomes lost the same damn way in 2019 after doing stupid ass lineup off sides. I'm nothing about no fucking rule change. Matt Ryan lost the same way in the Super Bowl. Granted, they blew a 25-point lead. I'm not here to have any sympathy for the Falcons, but the fact of the matter is they got to overtime. The Patriots got the fucking ball first. They scored. I ain't hear no tears. I ain't see no tears for Matt Ryan. I ain't see no tears for Mahomes. Now, all of a sudden, the Bills lose. Now we got to change rules. So I'll ask a simple question. What rule do we got to change for them now? We got to tie the, you know what? Maybe they should make Joe Burrow throw left-handed. Maybe they should make Patrick Mahomes throw left-handed.
Wow.
Maybe that's what they should do. Maybe, you know what? If Josh Allen ever actually wins the MVP that they've been dying to give this man for 2 whole fucking years, maybe they should just give them 14 points in every game, like it's an NFL street game breaker. Maybe that's what they should do. Maybe that's what they should do. 14 points every game. Maybe then they'll finally win the Super Bowl that everybody wants them to fucking win. Oh, as a matter of fact, you know what? The Bills played yesterday like they've never seen snow before. So you know what? Even a better fucking proposal. Maybe they could play all their games in Ford Field or the Georgia Dome or whatever the fuck dome you want to put them in. Maybe they could play all their playoff games there. That neutral site shit, let Buffalo have all their playoff games at a neutral site then.
You know what the funny You know what the funny thing is about the snow thing? You hear so many Bills fans in particular be like, "Oh yeah, teams are scared to come to Buffalo. They don't want these problems in the snow. They don't want to see us in the cold." And the funny thing is, your team also doesn't want these problems in the cold either. Half the
Bro,
time,
there's a ton of
any
NFL
sort.
players that are from like Florida, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Alabama, so on and so
Yeah.
forth. They're from fucking warm weather places. Nobody really wants to play in snow if we're gonna keep it a band. And on top of that, Buffalo's not even built to play in snow. If you look at
That's
how
the
their
thing,
team
too.
is fucking built, they're not
They
built
pass.
to play in snow. They
They
throw the
pass
ball
every
all
time.
over the place.
Yeah.
And I'm not even necessarily saying that they shouldn't. You have Josh Allen. He's this, that, and the third. He's the MVP and all that. That's cool. Let him throw the fucking ball all over the place. But when you get to 18-degree weather and he's off and you don't have a plan B, you're going home, as we saw live and direct on national TV in front of all the hoes yesterday.
And Tony Romo, because Tony Romo was one of the hosts too.
Oh, look, bro.
Listen. When someone says, "Yo, where the hoes at?" and they were like, "Tony Romo is the host." He's
Tony Romo, like, hey, that's what Tony Romo saying, bro. Like, yo, bro, I have never seen, like, we've seen some bad announcer Dick Eaton. Let's call a spade, right? I don't feel like coloring up my language. We've seen some, Romo's on some different shit. Like, I watched.
Yeah, that was the first. Yeah,
I watched him overthrow somebody last week. He's like, "Wow, that's a perfect throw, bro. It's not even on the screen."
That was the first time I haven't enjoyed Romo speak. And normally he's been on point, but yesterday was just like, yo, somebody slid him a couple of. No, somebody slid him a couple of thousand extra to be like, all right, bro, just don't.
No, but the thing is, Romo's been like this all year. Like, I don't know what. Like, when he first arrived, he was great, and then he just turned from whatever that was when he's actually giving football insights to team dick sucker number one. That's, I don't know when the change happened.
You know I think it changed because when people heard how smart he was, all the coaching offers came out of nowhere. And I think, like, wait a minute.
You want to dumb yourself down a little bit, brother. Like, we gonna slide in few extra dollars. Like,
because you know why, right? Because CBS is willing to pay a bunch of money to keep him, but not that much money to keep him. You know what I mean? And somebody hearing Romo calling the play out before it happens, it's like. But I'll say this though to your point, Kev, and this is a great analogy for Shaun. Someone said it earlier in the season, right? And I think a lot of people shit on him when he said that. That this year's Chiefs were going to be last year's Golden State Warriors. And it kind of played off to be true. They wrote them off because of the whole Tyreek Hill thing. Again, Kansas City didn't have the greatest start to the season this season. There's a lot that was said that similarities, Golden State pretty much kept their core, but Golden State had to play silencer and go out there and show that, hey, we're champions. Now, the Chiefs have won a championship. It's been a couple of years since they won their last championship, but this does feel like a year where there's obviously a lot of critics. They have a run game. They have a run game. Kelsey is proven to be one of the greatest receivers in history. You know what I mean? Receiver/tight end in history. Andy Reid is, only having one ring, unfortunately. Andy Reid is still one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. So how do you feel about that analogy, Shaun? Like, do you see or hear a lot of the content that Golden State had with the Kansas City Chiefs? Like, do you think people wrote them off too early?
I definitely do. Especially with no Tyreek Hill, people thought their offense wouldn't be as dynamic and explosive. But it just goes to show, man, like Patrick Mahomes, keep that man far away from Josh Allen's name in conversations. Be respectful.
Oh, damn.
Be respectful. Like, come on, son. Like, Josh Allen is not like that. And honestly, like, it's time to start a dialogue about the way that black quarterbacks are viewed versus white quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I think that Josh Allen is the perfect example of that because, as somebody who likes Lamar, wants Lamar to be a Jet, whatever, and just, I'm from Broward County. That's where Lamar is from. Like, I'm so proud of Lamar. Won an MVP in the second year. Madden cover, all this stuff. It's always, he's a running back. He can't throw. He can't do this. He doesn't win in the playoffs. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, with Josh Allen, he's the most elite quarterback, even though he doesn't throw the ball. He can't really – he's a runner. But nobody says, he runs, blah, 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 so he can't throw. And then you think about the fact that you look at how they don't want to pay Lamar. If Josh Allen was MVP in his second year, he would have got paid, right? And then you look at things like, okay, they saw that Josh Allen had a little bit of potential. What they do? They went and got him Stephon Diggs. You know what the Ravens did? They went and got Deshaun Jackson like it was Madden 09. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? You gave this man point. Deshaun Jackson as a number one receiver, and you're saying that he doesn't produce enough? That's crazy to me. That's crazy. But this is the curve that you got to overcome as the black quarterback. I think if it was a white quarterback in Baltimore doing the things Lamar Jackson has done and winning the games he's won, and having the win percentage he has, putting up the numbers he has, winning MVP, there will be no hesitation to pay him. There will be no conversation about that's. Judging how people speak on Lamar Jackson, honestly, is why I stopped tweeting about him, because I started to feel like a lot of my time I was racist. I was like, okay.
You know what the funny thing is? I did have a tweet about Lamar Jackson because Brandon Tinnery, I think one of those W fan guys, was like, I don't want this X, Y, Z, all these quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, I don't want him. And it's like, why? What reason do you have? And my mentions blew up. People agree with me, but a bunch of people were like, oh, Lamar Jackson can't do this. Oh, he can't play. Oh, he's too much of a run. Oh, he gets hurt too easily. All of this bullshit. And I think the big thing for me is the fact that for the most part, I really cannot name one receiver outside of Hollywood Brown that has done anything reasonable for the Ravens. And maybe that's due to Greg Roman's play calling out, give them that benefit of the doubt, but it's like no one. They're in meaningful games, they're throwing to fucking James Prochet. They're throwing to guys from Penn Station, 125th Street, Newark, Penn Station, all of these guys.
Bro, they had Willie Snead. They had Willie Snead starting last year, man. I agree with Shaun, and I've always said this: black quarterbacks never get a fair shake, and when they do, it's like it takes. I mean, I'll say this for Baltimore. The way, and someone pointed out the way they structure it, it was Lamar Jackson, Tyrod Taylor, then it was Lamar Jackson, Huntley. Like they're going to get somebody behind Lamar in that system that's not going to be that. Maybe we should play him. You know what I mean? Maybe we should play the white guy instead of playing Lamar. That's one thing I'll give them credit for. They always had a black.
If you look across the league, I think NFL teams have become hip to that in general. Because if you look at a lot of the black quarterbacks, like they end up with black backups. Because they're just like, bro, look, at the first 15 for 30 game with 3 interceptions, I'm not trying to hear the calls for the fucking backup, bros. And I know you won't call for the backup, but guess what? He's black. So I don't like the stuff. You damn sure don't like the black backup. Hence why they had Geno Smith backing up Russell Wilson for all those fucking years. It was like, hey man, look, are you gonna call for Geno Smith? You're not gonna do it, are you? Right. Are you? Are you? Yeah.
But that and if you guys, and I know I said his name before, but if you guys have watched Bomani Jones, his show on HBO, it's pretty dope because he was like when we highlight things like next season, right? He was talking about the quarterback situation, about people now realizing the person who touched the ball 100% of the time should be an athlete, right? It makes fucking sense, right? So it's not like the whole Josh Allen thing was a surprise. Hey, Lamar Jackson's a fucking athlete, right? That's the person carrying the ball should be athletic. Now everybody's getting hip to it. But I still feel in next year's draft or this year's draft, where the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks projected are going to be black, somebody's going to fall out the top 10. 1 or 2 are going to fall in the top 10 for a ridiculous reason. And somebody like Bo Nix is going to end up in top 10 for whatever reason. For whatever reason, somebody like Bo Nix will end up in the top 10 for somebody because there's no way it's going to be 3 or 4 black quarterbacks drafted in the top 10 this year. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. And that's why I feel like, personally, I feel like the Jets are at 13, wink, wink, trying to look for a quarterback because, somebody's going to fall out that doesn't belong post 10. And we can go back and
Drew close his eyes because the thought of a rookie quarterback makes his skin itch. So keep going.
Yeah, we know. Yeah,
but he having a self kumbaya moment. But yeah, go ahead.
But the point of that, when Kev was talking about the Jets passing up Mahomes at 6, and my argument is everyone passes up Mahomes. That's the reason why. It's like, hey, you have Mahomes and Watson, who should have been easily 1 and 2, 3 and 4, whatever, fall out and be traded up for because other people, hey, they realize what the fuck are these guys doing? Don't you see these guys are talented? I'm gonna trade up for. There is something to be said in conversation you had about.
It's ironic that the cheat. It's ironic that the name
racism is a market inequality in the NFL. Yeah, that's a whole topic we could talk about for 5 hours. Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead.
But no, it's ironic that a team named the Kansas City Chiefs benefited from racism and got Patrick Mahomes. It's kind of ironic that.
Yo, that's excellent. Yo, that's excellent. Good work. Good work. Good work.
That
It
was
really
perfect.
is fun. That really is.
That was
funny.
perfect. But listen, we have Shaun here on the show with us, and I'd be remiss if I didn't do this. We got to talk basketball, man. It's time to talk Knicks with my man I Hate Shaun. Of course, like I said, make sure you follow him on Twitter at I Hate Shaun. He's a part of the Knicks Wall. Make sure you follow the Knicks Wall and check out this. What's your new space is called?
Knicks on 1 every day after
Knicks
the game
on
at 1 o'clock.
Every day after the game, posting Knicks at 1 o'clock. So let's get into it, man. The Knicks. Let's start with the off season. A lot of conversation about who the Knicks should get. And I'll start by saying I'm sorry, Jalen Brunson. I didn't know your game was like that. Smarter fans than me did know, and he is playing well above expectations. Like a bunch of 30-point games, just going off. So shout out to Jalen Brunson, and the Knicks fans with more sense than me who knew that he was the guy to get for point guard. We are facing injuries again. Mitch Robinson got hurt. The Frenchman got benched. That was a beautiful day when Fournier got benched. Excellent day. Oh my God! Oh,
no wonder I haven't heard his name in so long.
Oh, he's been buried so deep on the bench, bro. It's like beyond me. We're 25-23. We lost. We're on a 4-game losing streak, unfortunately. What is your overall thoughts on the Knicks this season? Should we make a trade to better this team? Because I know a lot of people talk about Cam Reddish possibly moving, and then we'll get into some other stuff after. But what are your overall thoughts so far on the Knicks right now, who are the 7th seed in the East?
So my overall thoughts, I mean, like, we're a good basketball team, and I knew that we could be a good basketball team. I just thought there were certain small things that had to happen. Like, I thought that the Frenchman had to be benched, and they did. I also, it got to a point where I was watching, I was like, okay, like, at some point, Derrick Rose has to stop playing. He looks horrible. We stopped playing Derrick Rose. We did some things I didn't expect us to do. Jalen Brunson is an absolute hooper. He's going crazy. RJ got off to a slow start. That was kind of sad, but my guy's hooping now, and now all of a sudden nobody wants to talk about him anymore. Hate it. Julius Randle is, playing very high level basketball. He's playing about the same rate he was playing at in his All NBA season, and that's a beautiful thing. Mitchell Robinson has been phenomenal. It sucks that he got that freak injury, and now people are gonna. The most annoying part about that is now people are gonna go back to the whole, Mitchell Robinson is injury prone. I told you, and it's like, bro, like he fractured his thumb, bro. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, that's. I don't really think that's one of those injury prone injuries. Come on, Sam. Like, but but whatever. It's making sense is becoming less and less popular. Quentin Grimes also is just really, really good at basketball. My guy Emmanuel Quickly is. I mean, wow, really proud of him. Shout out to my man Emmanuel Quickly. And Obi Toppin is not getting enough of an opportunity, and that's it was rare as ugly had again last night. And so, I'm most known for probably calling Tom Thibodeau a war criminal. I stepped off of that at points this season because I saw him adapting, going into the 9-man rotation, doing some different things, putting Derrick Rose on the bench, putting Fournier on the bench. It was like, okay, cool. So he's adapted in those ways, which is nice. But, like, he is still holding this team back just by, like, being way too rigid and, being not capable of doing anything creative. Like, for Mitchell Robinson to be out and you still not to be giving Obi Toppin a chance, even when he hits 4 threes in a quarter, it's just crazy. Those are the kind of things I shouldn't have to deal with. And now with Mitch being out, less confidence in Tibbs, a daunting schedule. It looks like things could start to fall off the rails a little bit, but at the same time, this is a good basketball team. And so I'm glad, I'm confident in the players, not so much in the coach, but I think that they can avoid a catastrophic slide. I do believe we should be in the playoffs, and I believe that depending on who the matchup we are able to come out with, I'm not too afraid of a lot of teams. Like, I'd rather not see Brooklyn. I'd rather not see Boston in the first round if I didn't have to. I'd rather avoid Milwaukee, but even that, I'm not too scared. We probably won't win a 7-game series with Milwaukee, but I'm not scared. I think we've played the Bucks pretty well every time we played them. I honestly would love to see Cleveland in the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think that's food, not food, but I think it's winnable. And so, I think this team's capable. As far as should we make a trade or not, we definitely have to add depth because at all times now we're one injury away from Evan Fournier being back on the court, and I don't like that. So I need another buffer between me and Evan Fournier minutes. And we got to do something like whatever's going on with Cam. I know it's mostly political. It is what it is. I try not to discuss things that are above me. It's clearly like the man's not playing. We had games where we went into San Antonio with seven players in the rotation healthy, and only 2 of them played well, and we still didn't see Cam Reddish. So it's like, bro, we're not going to see Cam Reddish. It's okay. Like, it's not happening. So they need to hurry to move him. Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to say, I think Tom Thibodeau has a limit of how many young players he wants to play at any given time. And the young players they're playing right now.
Are we sure that's it, though? Like, I haven't been following
I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't.
So it's not like that this year.
But expound.
This year, bro, the average age of our rotation is 24 years old. Like, Julius Randle's 28, Jalen Brunson is 26, Quentin Grimes is 22 years old, RJ Barrett is 22 years old. They both start in the wings together. Mitchell Robinson is 24, Emmanuel Quick is 23. Deuce McBride is in the rotation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The roster's so young this year, but it's like if he played Cam Reddish, that might take him over the edge. That's what I'm trying to say.
But Shaun, what do you think? You said political, like anything specific that you could.
So what I think, and I like to make it clear all the time. I don't know shit. I like to make that abundantly clear. You feel me? This is just my an uninformed hypothesis. It seems like they're invested in Quentin Grimes. He's starting. It seemed like they came into the season wanting to start him. Emmanuel Quick is playing really good basketball, and so they're like, okay, they got Quentin Grimes on a rookie deal. They can get they're starting him this year next to RJ. They just paid RJ. They're gonna pay Quick most likely, and so I just think they don't want to pay Cam Reddish. I think that they have like draft picks coming up in the first round, and like, okay, for what we would be paying you, $15 to $20 million to do if we play you, we can get a rookie to come in here and do the same thing in a small role off the bench. And so they don't want to pay him. And so I think that, there's probably something with the agent and Cam Reddish where it's like, okay, well, we don't want to play if we're not going to be prioritized moving forward. I have no idea. But I think it just comes down to they don't want to pay him. He's not in their future plans. And so he's not being prioritized. And they're just going to move him.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, because it's like, you pay RJ, you pay Julius, pay Jalen. You're going to pay Quick. You got Grimes on a rookie deal. It makes sense to not want to pay Cam Reddish. It's unfortunate from like a personal level, like like for Cam Reddish, I hate that it's killing his value and it's a contract year. It's very important, so that's unfortunate for him. But like in terms of like just NBA and business and how it works, like it's not anything that hasn't been seen before.
It's just so weird for me, right? The Knicks finally have a young team. Like this is my biggest beef with Tibbs. Seeing Derrick Rose, which the fans love Derrick Rose, I get it. Seeing Derrick Rose, seeing what's his name? The power forward. He was from Brooklyn.
Obi.
No, not Obi.
Taj Gibson.
No, Taj Gibson. Seeing Taj Gibson, like it was a point in time. It was like, if you weren't 32 and older, you weren't going to make the rotation, right? Yeah. So when we got a guy like Fournier, I was like, we have a shooting guard already. We don't need Fournier who's going to eat up RJ's minutes. That's why I just felt like he's going to take minutes from him, playing unnecessary, and they're like, they're going to start him and RJ. For what? Like, he doesn't need to start. They finally realized, like, Fournier, outside of playing the Celtics, twice a year and playing good, he has no value. He doesn't play defense. And even when guys are out, he just doesn't do He has the Knicks single season record for threes last year, and no one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck.
Not at
that's
all.
That's how bad he was, and that's how bad of a contract this is. So they finally do the smart thing, decide to bench him this season. You would think, and Cam Reddish was getting minutes early in the season, right or wrong, Shaun? He was minutes earlier in the season. And Tibbs just, for whatever rhyme or reason, says, hey, no, we're going to bench him. Now, is it political? And like Shaun said, he's speculating. He doesn't know. It sounds like it is. I don't know. But I just know we traded for him. He should be playing. just like Thibodeau's rotational mix. Obi Toppin did everything in his power to improve he belongs on the court. Last year, mid-range, 3-pointers, defense, rebounding. We know he could sky high and dunk and be like the best dude in transition. What is Tibbs reward him with this season? Less minutes.
It makes sense.
Even when
literally less minutes.
Even when it's proven he can play next to Julius Randle, they were like, I don't think they play at the same time. Yes, they can. He proved it. I can play with anybody. Play me. Mitch is out. You would think he'd get more minutes. You know who they drag out there? Hartenstein or whatever the fuck his name is.
That guy is ass.
He's 2 packs of ass.
Damn, 2 packs. It's not even 1 pack. Damn.
It's kind of surprising. It is, yeah. It's surprising that he is 2 packs of ass, 5 packs, 10 packs. But it is kind of surprising that Obi Toppin isn't playing more because every time, I don't get MSG here, so I look on the box score. But every time I'm seeing Obi Toppin's name in the box score, he's like, oh, he's hitting a 3. Oh, he's scoring, rebounding, all that stuff. And his Hartenstein's just like fouling out. Or it's kind of weird. I don't get the minutes. I'm like, just super quick. With Tibbs in general, I feel like he's raised the Knicks floor significantly because before Tibbs, it was just trash coaching, trash players, trash all of that stuff. Like the Knicks were playing for the lottery more than they were playing for anything meaningful. But with Tibbs, you're probably going to be at or around 500, if not a little bit above, and you might win a playoff series or 2. But I don't think they're going to go far than like a playoff series or 2 with Tibbs. I think he's like a good floor coach, not a good ceiling coach.
He was supposed to be a ceiling coach. He was supposed to be kind of like a Woodson guy. When Mike Woodson came in, it's like, oh, is this what we have? I'm going to make this aspect better. Tibbs, I made the defense better. Yeah, but we don't care about that. We care, we don't care. Your rotations are awful. Like even when Randall, all right, so when Randall was bad last season, and again, this is me following Shaun and everything like that. We showing just plus minus. Randall off the floor, Randall on the floor, Obi on the floor, open up the floor. It's like, these advanced metrics that I really don't give a fuck about half of the time, but now I'm into it because for basketball, it makes perfect sense. There are guys who make the team better when they're on the floor and guys who don't. This year being the exception because Randall is playing, like Shaun said, like his all-NBA type player. But it's like you still have other guys. Like IQ was just dropping buckets when Brunson was out. His IQ 30-point games. He's dropping buckets. Like, play this man. Reward these guys for playing these minutes and scoring points and playing dope transitional basketball. No, I'm just going to go with the 7-man rotation and leave everybody else on the fucking bench for no reason.
And I think Jalen Brunson in particular, go on, Kavanaugh.
The thing with Obi is he the greatest basketball player walking earth? No. He does a lot of things to help you win, though. Like, he does a lot of things well on both ends of the floor. He's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none kind of guy. Like, there isn't anything that he does. Well, he jumps at an extremely high.
Jumps at the gym. Yeah,
he jumps at the gym. But, like, he does everything pretty well, but nothing great. And those kind of players are extremely valuable to NBA teams because you can put them in a whole bunch of different roles and they're comfortable. So you should be trying to get those guys more minutes, not less. But Tom Thibodeau is going to do what the fuck Tom Thibodeau does. And you brought up Mike Woodson. I'd like to point to one of the worst trades I've ever seen in my life and one of the worst quotes surrounding a trade I've ever seen in my life: the Andrea Bargnani trade and the following. The East is big, man. One of the worst quotes I have ever heard in my life. Like, the East is big, man, is why you acquired a big who can't fucking rebound. How does this make sense? How do those two things convert? Like, it's not like you acquired Roy Hibbert, where it's like, okay, all right, understand. I might not love Roy Hibbert, but fine, he's big as hell, yeah, and he be blocking shots. Like, all right, verticality. Remember, I know y'all remember that. Okay, cool. Andrea Bargnani rebounds like me. What the fuck are you talking about? Carry on. That's all I had to say when you brought.
But that's the thing where. So right now, and I'm gonna go back to Shaun. The Knicks are in the 7th seed right now, and I agree with Shaun. The East is not scary outside of maybe 2 teams, right, or 3. You see Boston, and you would say Milwaukee and
No, bro,
I'm more afraid of Brooklyn than anybody. I don't want to see
I think,
Kevin
Brooklyn-
Durant
I
and
think
Kyrie Irving
Brooklyn's
in a
better than
7-game
Milwaukee
series.
as of today. That could change.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Brooklyn's better than them as of today.
I think as long as Giannis is healthy, he playing. It's always. I'm
Yeah,
always
that's the
picking
thing.
Milwaukee. As long as because it's just Giannis, right? But no, Brooklyn is scary when they're healthy. They're not
Mhm.
healthy right now.
Right.
We got past the controversy and stuff like that. But there's no reason why the Knicks can't be a 4 or 5 seed other than the coach. Like it's like if we like there are other coaches right now that you can say would be a better fit for what the Knicks have. We have young pieces. We have guys who could be all stars. We have guys who can be, MVP candidates or whatever the case may be. If our record was better, like if our record was better than it is right now, I believe you can definitely give a nod to Brunson. You definitely give a nod to Randall again for having the season he had. Like he said, how many double doubles he has in a row right now? Sean, like 10 straight double doubles.
13, right?
Yeah, it's like
stupid
16 or
amount.
some crazy shit. Yeah, he's going nuts.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna lie.
he's back to his form of just being this
He's been
this
very
guy.
good.
Very good, and it's like, yo, we're gonna waste this and be a playing team. If the Knicks are a playing team, Sean, like what do you expect? Like where do you go from here with Tibbs next season? If the Knicks are a playing team and not a playoff team this season?
I feel like if the Knicks miss the playoffs, Tibbs should lose his job. I also have very low confidence in Tibbs losing his job because I watched that man lose like 17 out of 18 or 20 games last year, and and he lost them all the same way. And like nobody said anything, and I was just like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, fire him right now!" Like, I don't understand how he's still coming out here and like getting in post game press conferences and pissing me off with lies.
It feels like every year
bro,
with Tibbs.
Oh my bad.
Go on,
like
sorry.
I as much as I think the Cam Reddish thing is political, and I'm not even really tripping about it anymore, I just don't like being disrespected, man. I have a very low tolerance to disrespect. So last night they asked Tibbs, they said, why did you go with Evan Fournier and not Cam Reddish? And he was like, oh, because we needed size defensively. And I was like, that's the most disrespectful shit anybody's ever said to me. Like, are you serious? Like that? You didn't even try to come up with like a somewhat solid lie? Like you said this?
Yo, some of these coaches are really bad liars. And it's funny because all they do is coach and lie. That's the funny part about it. Like all these pressers feature mad lies. Like and the thing is, what your personnel is. You see them every day or every other day, however many times NBA teams practice or whatever. And you played a whole basketball game for 48 minutes. And you had time after the game to even think about what you was going to say in front of the press. And the best thing you have is that we needed some size on defense to support bringing Evan fucking Fournier.
Evan Fournier.
The only time the word defense should be in a sentence with Fournier is he can't play. That's the only time I want to hear. The only time defense should be in the sentence with Evan Fournier.
As long as don't is also in the same sentence. Yeah, you got a point. Don't gotta be in the same. Don't or can't gotta be in the same sentence. Period.
Yeah, I couldn't believe my ears. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I will say with no, you're good. I interrupted you. That's my bad. So with Tibbs, there's a couple things I noticed is that every year there's some defining characteristic that explains why the Knicks underachieved. I remember his first year here, or second year, I think it was the 2020-2021 season. The issue was the fact that he kept playing Alfred Payton for God knows what reason every single game. And the funny thing is, the Knicks had a lot of games where they lost by 1 to 5 points or something stupid like that. And most of those games where they lost by 1 to 5 points,
they'd be playing Alfred Payton minutes.
Alfred Payton was playing, and he would have like -5, -10 or something like that. It was crazy. So it's like they could have probably been 3. They were the 4th seed that year. They probably could have been
Alfred Payton's year, his year here where he, well, I guess they made the play. Yeah, they made the COVID year. Was Quickly on the team yet? He was.
Yes, he was.
So I feel confident saying that Alfred Payton was the IKF of the Knicks. I feel very confident saying that now. He's the IKF of the Knicks. Like he's here. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows how he got here. Nobody knows why his key still works. Nobody knows any of this shit, but he still plays and he plays every single fucking day and nobody knows why and he stinks. And it's clear that it's not even like, okay, if you squint hard enough and you look at his plus minus and you manipulate it enough, or you look hard enough at IKF's like defensive run saved or whatever fancy stats they got on Fielding Bible or whatever the fuck, like, oh, you could see that, maybe he has some, like, no, he stinks. Stevie Wonder could see that they both stink, and yet they still fucking play all the time, and nobody knows why, including the coaches themselves, because they'll get up in front of the mic and say some dumb shit, like when Aaron Boone said, IKF is one of the best defenders in the league. What league? Not the American League, not the National League, not the Grapefruit League, not the Tokyo League, not the Cactus League. Whatever the fuck league you got, he ain't one of the best defenders in it. And Tom was saying the same shit about Elfrid Payton while running him out there every game. Hell, they started him in the playoffs only to play him 5 minutes and then not playing the rest of the game. So why the fuck did you put him on the court in the first place? Why?
And they probably lost that game too. I bet they lost that game.
Y'all
Yes,
triggering me, man.
it was game one. Hell yes, they fucking lost.
And they lost by one. They lost by 1 point, right? Or 2 points. Imagine if they didn't play, they might have won that game. And I like how you just
man. Elfrid Payton and Andrea Bargnani in the same 10 minutes. I can't do this.
I also like
my favorite names.
I also like that stray you drew at IKF too. I appreciate the strays you're drawing out there. IKF just got the stray.
That's no shit. That's as direct as it gets. He stinks. That's as direct as it gets.
And then the second year, I think the big thing was the starters. For some reason, he didn't play the right starters together. I remember there was one game.
Bro, my man started Alec Burks at point guard for 4 games.
No, it was against the Pistons. And I remember the starters were all minus, and they were minus by 20, 30 points. And then the bench came in, and they were plus 20 or 30 points. So you know what game I'm talking about? Because the stats...
Yeah, that was the game where Deuce McBride was a plus 41 with 0 points.
Yes. And the stars were just so bad, and the backups were so good. And it's Tibbs never adjusted at all.
That was a
nice jam.
Horrible game. But yeah, man, listen. Hopefully the Knicks turn it around. We're definitely gonna keep up with that. And Shaun, like I said, I owe you. Whenever you come to New York, we gotta catch a game. Drinks on me and everything like that. Gotta have some fun with that. We got a couple of more things to cover real quick. We're going right back to NFL. Eagles versus the Niners, previewing NFC Championship. Thoughts real quick. Who do you have going to the Super Bowl? Eagles, Niners. Start with you, Kev.
I really don't know. I don't have a grasp of what's going on here because the thing is, the Eagles just played an entire playoff game that nobody could take anything from. They walked into Lincoln Financial Field. The Giants walked into Lincoln Financial Field, and then they beat them like they stole something the entire day. And it was did they prove anything to you? We all knew they was better. It was just a matter of, how much are they gonna show that they're better? And the Eagles no problem. We got y'all. We gonna end this game real quick. So, an old head like me was so happy that I got to leave the bar and get home early because I was so happy I got to leave at halftime. I was like, oh, good job, Eagles. Kick them in their teeth. But that game showed nothing. The 49ers beat a tough Cowboys team at home. Okay. The only reason I'm going with the 49ers is I picked them in the first place. So it's might as well stick with it, right? I picked them to win, to make the Super Bowl in the first place. So I'm going to pick them here. I hope I'm wrong. I'd rather the team with the black quarterback go on, personally. But I think the Niners are slightly better equipped for this kind of football than the Eagles are, I guess, given the personnel of both teams. But we'll see. I guess the Niners 23-17. Let's go with that.
I agree with you. I don't know what we got out of the Giants Eagles game. That's why we didn't talk about it. Other than Jalen Hurts is healthy. He's healthy. He proved that his shoulder is fine. I think my biggest takeaway is that the Niners are beatable. Dallas defense is good. Eagles defense is good as well. Eagles offense is better. I think if it boils down to a defensive matchup, I'll give Eagles a slight edge because I'll give Jalen Hurts is better than Brock Purdy. If CMC can't go and Deebo Samuels can't move, hey, it might be a longer game than we expect. So I'm going to go Eagles in a close one. I'm going to say 20-14. Shaun, what are your thoughts? Eagles, Niners.
I've got the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is my fantasy QB this year, and I just really like that. I keep making I'm really good in my league at picking the quarterback after everyone else does, and still picking the best quarterback. So I really rock with Jalen Hurts and black quarterbacks, the vibes. And also, come on, like Kev just said, man, They just put the Giants through the mattress on national television. Like
They did.
They really beat the dog shit out of them. Like,
They did.
and so I'm not taking anything against them. Like, they've been playing really good football pretty much all year, and I expect that to continue. It should be a good one though. The Niners have looked good, but the Eagles they look like a force right now.
I will say the Eagles. I'll go with the Eagles because honestly, when the Eagles play their best football, like all of their losses this year have been pretty self-inflicted wounds. Two of them have, who was it, Gardner Minshew, and then one Jalen Hurts. All of them have just been multiple turnovers, crazy time of possessions by the other team. The thing is, if they play average to great football, I can't see them losing. I really just can't. I mean, the Niners are a good team. I think it'll be a very, very close game, probably something like 17-14. I'm going to go 17-14 here, but Eagles play a good game. There's no way they're losing.
Also, shout out to Jalen Hurts for being my quarterback in my back-to-back Titleist team in the middle initial podcast league, in which Jude came in the rear again. So, shout out to Jalen Hurts for all of that.
That's an interesting.
Excuse me.
That's an interesting choice of words.
I was hoping nobody peeped that.
I heard it. I was like, okay. Came in the rear. All right.
Came in the rear was crazy. I was gonna let it go if y'all did, but came in the rear was crazy.
Nah, that's a massive pause. I ain't gonna lie. That's a big time pause. My bad.
More of an interesting matchup.
Yes.
Chiefs Bengals. I'm gonna ride with Shaun here when he spoke about Burrow's bravado. Man, I just feel like Burrow he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder, but he kind of does. You know what I mean? I think he's like he was the same guy in LSU. He's in NFL. He's smooth, man. He's cool. He's calculated. I feel he'll be ready. And I'll say this: the Chiefs are not playing a bad team, and like, you know what I mean? They're playing a team with who's ready. And Mahomes' high ankle sprain, if it's they're going to shoot him up. They're going to give him whatever different drugs. If he can't play on that back foot properly, or it gets tweaked a little bit, it's a wrap. I don't think it's a blowout. I said Blackfoot, right? I don't think it's a blowout, but I think the Bengals win a close 30-24 matchup. Shaun.
I see where you're coming from, and I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, I refuse to bet against Patrick Mahomes. In 1 foot, 2 feet, red feet, blue feet, I don't care. Patrick Mahomes is that dude. And, like with a home playoff game, it's going to be tough. But I mean, if anybody can do it, I think it's Joe Burrow. I think he's really, and I think their defense did a great job against Buffalo. But as we discussed, like dealing with Josh Allen and dealing with Patrick Mahomes are two different ball games. So it should definitely be a good game. I think this one will be closer. I expect the Eagles to handle the Niners, but I expect KC versus the Bengals to really be like a thriller for real. So I'm going to go with 28-24 KC.
Jude.
I'm going to. One thing I do want to say first is that it's amazing that Patrick Mahomes has played 5 full seasons and has never played a road playoff game. He doesn't even know.
You mean the guy they shouldn't have replaced Alex Smith with? Him?
Yeah, that's irrelevant. But that's irrelevant. But he's never played. He's never played a road playoff game. Think about how crazy that is. I have to look up the stats, but I don't think that's ever been done to start off your career with. Like,
I'm 99% sure it hasn't.
He's also never lost a road divisional game, which I think is crazy. That means all the teams in his division, like all their fans have never had a good time when he's coming to the building. They always go home sad.
Realize that. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. That is great. So it's like, it just shows how amazing he is, shows how good he is. In terms of this game, it depends on how much Patrick Mahomes' ankle is hurting him. If it's hurting him quite a bit, I could see the Bengals winning a tight one. But if it's not, the Chiefs are going to win a tight one. Either way, like Hayes said, they're going to put a bunch of drugs in Mahomes. He would have to be literally like, both of his legs would have to be broken for him to not play and through any sort of pain through that game. So I just think it's going to be a close game. The Chiefs' defense is kind of more of a liability. It's never been good at all under Steve Spagnuolo. So I don't know. It's a hard one to pick. Yeah, unconventional pick I have is that I think the game goes to overtime. And
Jude,
decent
come the
odds.
fuck on.
Pick a winner, man. What the fuck
winner,
winner,
bro?
bro?
Unconventional overtime. Overtime. Okay, who wins in overtime?
Everybody picking the
The
score.
Chiefs win. They get revenge on the.
I think it's gonna go to overtime and end at
They get
5:32
revenge.
p.m.
They get revenge on the Bengals. Chiefs win 28-25.
Whose man's is this, bro?
28-25 Chiefs.
Well, okay, Jude.
All right, man. So,
I'm sorry. Too premature. My bad, Kev.
too premature. I didn't even get to
Too
pick
premature.
it.
I was excited.
Betting against Patrick Mahomes is really tough. It's a really tough thing for me to endorse, but I'm about to do it. I think the Bengals are just better. And it is really hard betting against Patrick Mahomes. I'll repeat myself. The thing is, with a quarterback on the other side who can play him to a semi standstill, it then becomes about everybody else. And for me, the Bengals got a better everybody else than the Chiefs do. Again, Mahomes is the great equalizer. He could come out there and throw for 6 touchdowns. Nobody would be surprised. Okay, I understand that, and I'm not here to doubt him at all. Who I'm doubting: Marquez Valdez-Scantling, McCole Hardman, Kadarius Toney's hamstrings, the entire Kansas City defense, Steve Spagnuolo. That's why I'm not doubting Patrick Mahomes at all. I just saw the Cincinnati defense put non-scammy Brett Favre and the Bills in a blender yesterday. I saw that. Jamar Chase. I don't think I need to say anything about him. T. Higgins is nasty as well. Tyler Boyd is their slot guy. He's really fucking good. Hurst is competent. They have players all over the place. Where if the Chiefs are going to win that game, Chris Jones got to play like prime Warren Sapp. And I'm dead serious when I say this. He needs to wreck their entire interior defensive line, because as much as we didn't notice it yesterday because they were moving furniture, those were still backup offensive linemen. So if the Chiefs don't, if Chris Jones and them are not in Joe Burrow's face all day, they're probably going to lose. We'll see what happens. Ultimately, I think we're going to get a 31-28 kind of affair.
One more thing before we end go on our final segment. I know it's Heights offensive line. Remember when everybody was complaining, the Bengals didn't do enough for the offensive line?
Bro, remember when they acted like the Bengals were the stupidest people on earth for taking Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell? And it was like, I understand that's one of those 50-50 debates at that time. I understand Sewell's nasty now. So it's a really they're both really good players. I understood wherever you wanted to land. But man, they acted like the Bengals were crazy for trying to take the guy that Joe Burrow threw to in college, who's always fucking open. Why would they be crazy for doing this?
Right. But hey, crazy things have happened, but it's your favorite portion of the show. Pro tips. Tippin Jackson.
Jeez.
Tippin. Picture's so fucking funny.
What is going on? What are your picks this weekend? Let the people know. It should be for the weekend. Let's take the NFL, because you haven't been tweeting out your picks. You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to. My bad. But let people know it's AFC NFC Championship. What are you working with? What we got?
Pretty much the teams I meant. If you want to parlay the Chiefs and the Eagles, that might be a nice little 300, 200, 300 plus 200 plus 300 payout. Sorry, my microphone fell down, so you'll hear some static. Unconventionally, I'll say the Chiefs game's going to go to overtime. That's my unconventional pick. I feel like the NFL is begging to test out that overtime rule. Might see a high-scoring game. Could see some crazy ref things happen. You know how it goes these days. I think that game goes to overtime. So overtime is usually like plus 1,300, something like that. So you want to put $5 on that, you get some bar money, I guess. You want to get really crazy and predict the exact results. So say, what is it? Halftime, full time. So say Chiefs tie, Bengals tie, but sprinkle a little bit on it. That's good. But officially, I'd say Chiefs and then Eagles a little parlay. That's it.
So you have any prop bets in mind in particular, like specific ones, maybe player props in particular?
Player props. That's a good question. I would say a good player prop I'd have. It's kind of chalky. Let's go with just Travis Kelce and Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. Put them together to get a nice little odds from that. And then maybe for a hot take, Touchdown, Joe Burrow. I haven't checked the odds for that. This is just me going with my head right now. I can check the odds super quick on that. Give me like 5 seconds. But those were some players.
You hit last time with the Boston Scott. I mean, that was pretty obvious. Everybody hit on the
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah, but
know.
But
I
I mean,
mean,
it's Earl Campbell when the Giants come to town.
It was so obvious, but it was so obvious I thought it wouldn't hit because it was like that was just such an obvious thing to do. But I guess the Giants were talking about
Nick Sirianni is one of the best villains in the NFL right now. He's gonna make sure.
Did you guys see that some dude won $700 and something $1,000 for first touchdown score?
72 bands.
Right, for first time. Yeah,
it was
first
time. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think
it was.
So.
It was Goddard.
It was Kelsey,
Goddard.
Kelsey,
Jamal Chase,
and Chase, right? So it was 3 times.
Yeah.
So the Jamar Chase and Travis Kelsey one that comes out to plus 290 on FanDuel, that's a decent odds. I feel like this game's going to see a loss. This game should see a decent amount of scoring, to be honest. I said initially 17-14 for God knows what reason I was wrong. It's going to be higher scoring, and now it's time to see some offense in the game. So, yeah, I think we'll see some good scoring there. If you want to get crazy and do 2 touchdowns for both of them, the odds aren't loading, but you're probably going to do 2 up.
We don't have all night. Next time we got to be prepared.
I am prepared. Don't feel like I am prepared. Jeez.
Jude's like going through the Rolex right now. Hold on, let me check. Hold on. Listen, man, it's been an hour and 55 minutes. If people stuck through this long, hopefully they did. If they didn't, though, we definitely going to have those tweets going out. Make sure that you tweets these out. These are his picks. Yes. He's been on fire, guys. I'll say this much. He's been correct 2 weeks in a row, at least for a couple of. I think the Super Bowl futures are the only thing that didn't go through. But I mean, he's been on point.
There's still Patrick Mahomes MVP. That's still possible.
Patrick Mahomes MVP. So
that comes
make sure you guys are tuning in, man. But once again, that was Pro Tips with my main man, Tippin Jackson. Oh yeah.
Tippin Jackson, Jesus Christ.
That is the show. I'd like to thank our very special guest.
What, like Adam Gase?
I was like, my very special guest. I'd like to thank our very special guest, Shaun. I Hate Shaun from the Knicks Wall. Make sure you follow him at I Hate Shaun. Make sure after the Knicks game, the next day, Knicks on 1 on Spaces. Make sure you jump in. That's always a great show. Follow my man. Follow the Knicks Wall. Follow Kyle. Is it Maggio? Maggio? What is it?
Maggio.
Follow Kyle Maggio. Great time, man. If you're a Knicks fan, make sure you follow those. Make sure you follow those guys, man. Great guys. Make sure you follow my man Kevin Lewis at KLEW24. Tune into All In with Kevin Lewis on Mondays. They will be back in some form, capacity. He will be back with Underdog Fantasy this year. Don't want to give him too much, but he will be back. Make sure you follow my man Tippin Jackson at Jude Truth. Don't follow me because, listen, I frankly don't like what Twitter did with this whole new layout. I don't like it. So I know I've been saying it like,
is that why you don't want them to follow you? Tell them the real
reason. Just more so now. Don't follow me. Don't follow me. I might offend some people, man. Like, just don't follow.
There it is.
I might offend some people, man. It's bad for the brand. But make sure you follow us at MIPod69 on Instagram and on Twitter. And of course, that's it. Any final words from anybody?
Hey, Shaun, we love you. Thank you for coming on with us. That is all I have to say. Appreciate you. You're welcome any fucking time. That is all.
Anytime. Pleasure and an honor. Thank you guys. And also, remember, America is racist. Josh Allen is not better than Lamar Jackson.
Oh, wow.
And with that being said, peace. Have a good one.
Adios.